beat NIP twice, which is the big story that everyone was excited about towards the back end of yesterday. Either way, the game is ready. Villa between G2 and DAMWON Kia. Really keen to see how this one plays out, Ace, because as we know, the more this day wears on, the more teams are locked in to either going home and heading to the airport soon or progressing into playoffs and getting a shot on the big stage at winning it all.
Well, this is the best bit. This is the best bit of groups for me. It's when you get down to these decision-making days where you're really having the games that will decide the fate of teams. Do they progress, like you say? Are they going back to the room to pack up and go home? This is what we are going to find out over the next few hours. We're going to be able to bring you all the answers by the end of the night, or at least the majority of them. I think some might just be finished off on the A stream once we're finished here with our games on Bravo. But we will certainly be able to see how the A group finishes. We'll certainly be able to see how the C group finishes, I think. And then we will see... maybe tomorrow morning when we get up, Des, how D has finished.
It's like waking up in the aftermath of a nuclear fallout, it feels sometimes, when you woke up after each day of the group stages so far. I do want to touch on these bans really quickly as they fly through. This is such a heavy target ban against Woogiman. When they played against Dark Zero, DAMWON Kia I'm talking about here. When they played against Dark Zero, his attacking operator, Lion. His defensive operator, Goyo. They're going so hard for him because we spoke about the Boogeyman and what he can achieve when he comes roaming up in the late round. Shutting him out here, forcing some different picks onto DAMWON Kia. Clearly a part of G2's strategy, as we've always said about them. Them and their target bans has been a thing that we've seen a lot in EUL alongside Na'Vi.
Heading towards round one, then we're going to be with G2 defending to start with. It's going to be up in Aviator and Games. Kayak bringing the alibi, that's an interesting one. CTZN we quite regularly see on the Valkyrie if available, or we have at least historically, so plenty of black eye cameras brought along and information to be gained. One player that I'm keeping a close eye on, Des, I picked up on him before we came in here, and I think it's one that we need to just be monitoring really to get a gauge of how G2 might perform, and that is going to be Virtue. Need him working in tandem with CTZN. The best performances that we've seen out of G2 over the last 4 or 5 months have been when Virtue and CTZN have really popped off together and they've worked well. They've found frags between them, they've traded each other's deaths, and they've just had fantastic sort of synergy between the two of them. We need to be seeing a little bit more out of Virtue. I think he's sat on about 29 kills so far in this tournament, and it's just not enough.
That's the thing, right? And I'm almost at a point now where I feel like we're a broken record. Every caster who's spoken about this team has said, oh, Virtue needs to improve and get back to his old state. The challenge is, you know, how long do we keep on saying that? At what point does it become, right, something needs to happen now, because clearly things aren't improving. And I'm sure G2 have got an explanation for what's going on. I know that Virtue said about 2 or 3 playdays before the end of EUL, he had a couple of things going on that he felt he'd addressed there and was ready to get back to his old form. We haven't yet seen that. It's the big question of how long you want it to go on for. I'm not at all trying to insinuate Virtue gets dropped or anything so drastic this early on, but it's clear that it's more than just hoping for him to improve. It's just what you have to accept is that Virtue maybe isn't quite up to scratch alongside players like CTZN.
Rin finds the opener onto Hungry, and that's going to terrify G2 because Rin came out with 19 kills last time these two met. And if that is how we are going to start as we mean to go on, it could be a big problem. They're going to need to find a way to shut down the Zofia of Rin. Woogiman getting himself onto that south side balcony for the time being with the Nomad. Will use those air jabs, no doubt, to block off any potential rotations. Now, we've seen this work already once today, Des. The old Claymore through the drone hole technique. We're not seeing the beams coming through. I don't know if there's something blocking it or not, but we did see Shaiko falling foul of it, so one to watch out for.
Keep a close eye on it for sure. CTZN playing downstairs inside a library with the C4 in hand that he can wield. And, well, not anymore, actually. It's been placed out in this case. 3 on side if you look at it that way, because there's also one in the back pocket of Jonka still. Harlequins play quite hard for the denial game, and sure enough, there is the pre-plays coming out of CTZN. Finds one for himself, but immediately there is a response by the side of DK. Yass finding one back.
And it's going to be Kayak that they lose with the alibi going along with him. CATsang moving through from statuary there. So DWG Kia going to be pushing onto the north side of door. It has become pretty much the default attacking push now. It used to sort of be 50-50 as to whether we saw the attention from the north side or not, but it is almost every single attacking round now. Teams are going to want to get control of trophy statuary, get themselves into 90 corridor, lock down at least as far as down to the door of games room, and then try to push in through to the maps table, get a diffuser down either behind the vault door or behind the map table itself, depending on what's happening inside of study usually. Now Woogiman is going to be on the study window. The laser gate reactivates in front of him, so a little bit of progress that sort of takes a backward step there.
Trying to get this vault wall opened up. Was jammed away initially. I think it even still is, but still only partially. Maybe afraid of having a grenade rolled through and blowing out the jammer. I'm not quite sure, but I expect it would be on the other side, inside of the game room itself. Jonka whiffs the headshot. Yes, not too sure about that one, buddy, but a good kill coming in for Jonka. 3 versus 3. They know where the man is. No way he wins that at range. Coted by another CTZN. Snapping up and making himself heard. Here we go with another fight coming in. Coted going for the plant. It's on these two now to try and make the recovery happen. CTZN pushing his way forward as the other holds off to the second angle. One comes in. Woogie finds the kill onto Virtue, and CTZN's got it all to do in a 1 versus 2 against Coted and Woogie.
We know that he's certainly capable of it, but Virtue just missing his shots there onto Woogiman, who managed to beat him to the punch and find the kill. CTZN looking for the first of 2 that he's going to need. One is on red stairs. CTZN surely, no, just dips out of the way, doesn't manage to get the kill. In come the flashbangs. That's going to force CTZN away, and it's smart play from DWG Kia, just using everything at their disposal. Takes out the air jab, but with time ticking away, 7 seconds, he's got to do something here. It's very unlikely the challenge is going to come out, and shut down by coted. CTZN cannot close the round out. It's going to be DWG Kia taking number 1 with a good attack onto Aviator Games.
I thought you were going to say taking it with the bang, and I was going to go, actually, Ace, it was with several flashbangs. Just having them thrown at him there in the post plant as well, all sat in the back pocket. Imagine what they'll be like post-patch, of course, if you haven't seen the changes coming in the new season. A couple of changes to flashes potentially being reworked or looked at on the TTS. Lots to be excited about on that front, but DWG Kia leaning behind them even now to some good effect. First round then. DWG Kia draw first blood, and G2 are the ones who have got to find a response. For now, that response is going to look like stepping back into the same site as Rin steps away from playing the Zofia into the Floris.
As many bombs as they can.
DWG Kia coming out with a strong start then. G2, how long does it take for them to start thinking? If DWG Kia are putting rounds on the board, how long does it take for it to get into G2's head? You know, is this happening again? Are we going to suffer at the hands of DWG Kia again? Are we going to be calling it a day on our tournament? Is the match against NIP going to be nothing more than a swan song? CTZN downstairs again. He had a good round last time, managed to get himself a nitro kill from underneath onto Rin, I believe it was, if memory serves correctly. And then we've got the setup inside of sight. Banshee's just inside of the door, laser gates, we've got bulletproof cameras, we've got everything that G2 need to hold this down. The one thing they're not getting is the frag stairs. It came down to a 2v1, so they did manage to find 3 of DWG Kia, but 3 is not enough to win a round.
Was being cheeky again. It's always in the early round. This time round, CTZN was the one being the aggressor, and CATsang being mildly wary of what was going on there. Doesn't find himself losing his life, so no big concern. At least in those first 30 seconds, no one has been spawn peeked. It's what we're so used to seeing, including actually, I think it was in the game for DWG Kia against Dark Zero, the counter spawn peeks coming in. They just had their number and knew what was going on and had a response every single time.
Woogiman a little bit slow on the draw there. Had the opportunity as the man moved across. I think it was the Aruni of Hungary, but he didn't manage to hit his shots. Virtue still playing inside his sight. We've got Kayak at the top of the main stairs. A little bit lacking of impact in round 1. He'll be looking to do a bit more. We know how much of a strong influence Kayak has had on this G2 side since joining. Virtue locking himself down inside of the vault for the time being. He's going to look to see if he can deliver anything in this round.
Look at that, look. Constant pings coming in. Gadget here. Gadget here. Gadget here. Shoot. 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 Make it do his work from below. Don't need an IQ to do this. You can get away with just getting a drone inside and a few red pings to assist you along the way. Second round in a row now that Rin has found Hungary in the opening kill. This one a bit slower than last time. But it's still not good for Hungary to be dying out so early on.
Absolutely not. A minute and a half left to go, and it just leaves G2 once again at a man disadvantage. They did manage to level it up with that Citizen Nitro quite quickly last time, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. CATsang sending the drone in. They know that Kayak is on those stairs. There's a second one moving across, so DWG Kia looking to pressure from underneath. It's actually Rin that's going to be supporting CATsang and yass. Kayak has got a whole world of trouble coming his way if he's not careful. Manages to find one with the MX4. Storm cannot find another as CATsang manages to get the trade. Virtue finds Woogiman. Virtue finds coted. This is what we need from the Australian gunner on the side of G2. 45 seconds left to go, but a nade to the face is not going to help Citizen to keep fighting into the late round. It's Virtue, it's Jonka. They have to close this down. G2 can't allow themselves to get too far behind.
Really good control from below for the side of DWG Kia. Grenades singing up, removing gadgetry, removing players. He managing to clear out main stairs here too. So this is where the push begins. Jonka holding at the top of 90. The other holding off inside of Aviator or thereabouts, I would imagine. But it's the time they've got to work with. About 20 seconds here to go to. What's going to be the focus? Apparently getting the soft wall opened up on bottom of 90 is the #1 play because they want to try and get a plant inside a bar. Virtue daring them to come running in through this doorway. It could be a freebie for him. He's going to find it, and that's the diffuser. A triple kill for the Aussie. 1 versus 1. Jonka got to make something happen, I think, or just hold back and wait. Let them be the ones who have to move fast. 1 second. I don't think he'll be there in time. Just about gets there. Rin has now got to challenge this angle. He loses it out. Down one take around from the jaws of defeat when surely it looked like G2 had done enough.
What are we witnessing here? Literally millimeters across the threshold. This just seems like the day for fine margins. It was time in the BDS game. It's distance in the DWG Kia game. Somehow managing to just get that diffuser in hand and get it into the site in the absolute nick of time. Beautiful play from DWG Kia, fighting down to the last millisecond, never allowing themselves to give up on the round.
Must be an absolute dream being a DWG Kia player right now. Imagine you've come to an international tournament like this, names that no doubt you've grown up watching at majors, or just thinking, oh, one day I'll be there. So far, smashed their way through NIP, came dangerously close and actually beat G2 on Monday. Dangerously close against Dark Zero, and now potentially about to do the double over G2. I tell you what, I could become a pro player. I can't become a pro player, but if I were to become one, and I could beat G2 at NIP even once, I'd retire, and that would be my trophy accolade in my career.
I thought you were honestly looking to get yourself involved then, Des. I thought it's going to be a long road, I'm sure.
Mate, every journey starts somewhere, and it all starts with a small step.
Always got to be with a single step. I tell you what, it would be just as long a journey for me and most everybody else at home, because these guys are playing on a skill level that we just can't really appreciate, a lot of us, because believe me, they are good. I came up against Citizen in game once, randomly in a ranked game, and I'm glad it was the last time. Put it that way, Des. He killed me 2 or 3 times and I didn't even see him once. Absolutely unbelievable. But back to the game at hand. Round 3, we found ourselves Citizen all the way down inside of basement. We talk about this area. It's little used on Villa, usually for nothing more than transition. There's no vertical nitro spots that Citizen can really use down here. But the point is, if DWG Kia misdrawn this and they don't find him, that's when he could be really lethal.
Tim, name me a single call out in the basement of Villa.
Basement. Barrels.
Boxes.
Barrels.
Statue. Look at it. Like, this is that, you know how little it's played when no one has got a call out for it. If someone runs down there, you're just like, guys, I'm sorry. He's disappeared into the abyss.
He's in basement. Just watch the stairs.
She's in basement. That's about it. Which stairway? I don't know, Jeff. Jonka finding yass at the very start of this one. It was previously Rin finding the opening kill in both rounds onto Hungary. This time round, it's DK walking away with the opening death.
G2, they need to do what DWG Kia have been able to do so far, and that is once they've got that opening kill, back it up, find more, get yourself a stronger advantage, and especially for G2 on the defense, they can start to just sit back a little bit then. They don't have to pressure quite as aggressively. Now, they are defending in library and living room. We've spoken about this site already today. We are seeing more and more play in here. It's sort of 50-50 now, at least at the Mexico Major with this site, or dining and kitchen. It's certainly becoming a more used used option. Now then, DWG Kia going to look and clear the top floor. There's vertical angles being held by G2. Need to be careful here, coted. He's going to be challenged from both angles. Hungry, Virtue, G2 absolutely settling into this round. Jonka will be downed but not out. An opportunity to pick him up potentially. CATsang looking for the angle onto anyone inside a site here, but they just can't find them. Woogiman, he's still on that top floor clearance. There's one inside a bar. He gets shut down, finished off, and it's going to be 1 versus 5. CATsang is out of here, and that is a flawless round for G2.
It's what baffles me is you get this kind of stuff happening sometimes. Like, think back to Na'Vi versus SSG, the counter flawless rounds that we saw coming out. First one being to SSG in round 3, then round 4, Na'Vi got one on the way back. Just goes to show that an individual round itself can't really tell you the full story of a game, but a good response from G2, and we always say getting that first round on the board is pivotal to going on to find your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, all the way up to the point that you win. So just remind you, you can get this over the finish line. On to the next downstairs site. Then we've seen Aviator twice and living room and library just now. Dining and kitchen going to be the location for round number 4.
Dining and kitchen it is, and that's no surprise. G2 have just had their best round so far in living room and library. Holding top floor just doesn't seem to be working out for them. They've tried AVG twice. They don't want to go to trophy statuary, obviously, and it's no surprise. Like I say, you move downstairs, you go living room and library. Not only do you close the round out, you close it out flawlessly. It's been fantastic for them. So now moving into dining kitchen, it's a logical choice. You can do similar things. They'll look to hold down the top floor. They had 3 men, I think, up at the beginning of the round, in and around that south side of the top floor. Aviator Games, 90 Corridor. This time, it's going to be over in Master Bedroom. It's going to be over in Trophy and Astro that they need to hold down. Bathroom as well. As you can see from the bomb silhouettes, that is the area directly above the site, and that is where CATsang is going to want to get in and make that sledgehammer sing all the time against the floor. He's not worried about the walls. He wants those vertical angles on this side.
Love we're seeing again this comp that seems to be running through a lot of teams here at Mexico. Not like it's anything new either, but the Vigil, the Mute, the Mozzie, all as a combination, all about the intel denial game. And against a team like DAMWON who want to move fast, I think denying away information from them is the surefire way to make them trip up, make a couple of mistakes, get themselves caught potentially by the likes of Kayak. Not the most usual suspect for seeing a play on an operator like this, but here it's Jonka finding the entry kill once again, this time onto Woogie.
Jonka somewhat of an entry hero in the last couple of rounds for G2. Just when things felt like they were slipping a little bit after the first couple of rounds, Jonka steadies the ship by getting those entries and just really enabling G2 to have that strong foundation in the round. Coted just working from the windows, as is CATsang. They're trying to get angles into sight for the time being. The Selma charge has been applied to the wall, but they're going to wait. This is smart from Kayak. Just waits for it to be activated. They're looking to clear out the utility, and until it is cleared, you can just leave it there. Yass manages to find a kill onto Virtue with a nade there, and that is the Selma cleared off from Kayak, but it does give his position away as well, so he needs to be careful, potentially relocate himself. Yass, he's looking at working from an alternative angle, and guess what? That one's muted out as well, Des.
I'm pretty sure it's jammed from inside of dining, that on the other side of that wall, that neighbors, like parallel to the wall that you're looking at where Kayak was holding, it's been jammed out by the new jammer on the other side, as Medics has pointed out there, next to the cabinet. Thank you very much, Medics. What's the same story on this one? That's now been removed away. Gonna look to deny that one away here, Kayak, and leave it. So it is like a Habana-shaped hole, but not enough that anyone can go walking through, because at this point, looking at the Selmas on side, there is only one left for coted. This next one needs to be placed right.
Certainly does. The impact nade coming out after the first explosion, and it clears off before the second explosion. So there we go. The Selma comes in. That's going to be... It should be maneuverable, but it's not at an easy height. It's quite low in the wall, and that's something DWG Kia need to allow for. They can't just assume that they can run in and throw that diffuser down, but it will allow them some nice lines of sight as well. Coted just getting the drone in there. DWG Kia feeling that in this last 30 seconds, they need a bit more information. They need to know exactly who is where inside of sight. Now then, they nearly catch the Vigil of Kayak dashing across the kitchen door there, but he will get away with it. He's looking for anybody trying to creep in through this breach that's been opened up. CATsang not having any joy from above yet. 13 seconds left to go, and DWG Kia need to make this happen. Hungry, he manages to find Rin. CATsang will trade it out though. 3 versus 2. You gotta hit those shots. Kayak just missing and allowing the man in to try and put the diffuser down. Here comes the pressure. CTZN.
A few times today we've mentioned the kind of one moment in a round that, although in itself doesn't look mega impactful, it's not the kind of shot that wins a round. It's the small things that kind of trickle from being a snowball into an avalanche, and before you know it, something has gone down a very different path than what you intended. In that round, Kayak missing that spray was the difference maker. Coted goes down. There's one man left alive on the ground floor because you've got Yass playing on the upstairs. Everything DWG Kia wanted to get done in that round rode on him being able to cross, get behind the table, and get the plant down. And for all intents and purposes, Kayak essentially missed a full mag onto him there. These things do happen, but you'd hope at this level you're being able to land those critical shots. Kayak currently still 0-3. Now stepping across to bring along the Jonka.
I think that's the thing, you know, at this level, and we say this level sort of quite broadly, we're talking about International Siege, Tier 1 International Siege, but I'm talking, even in specifics, there's the Mexico Major, the level of play that we've been seeing here from the top teams has been phenomenal so far. We've seen some really great performances, both individually and as teams. So at this level, like you say, you're not going to get much more of a chance than that. And it's not, you know, as a criticism to say, oh, as if he didn't get that kill. It's not an easy kill to get. The man's moving quickly. He's only got head and shoulders to aim at. But if you want to compete, if you want to be a champion, those are the shots you got to hit. It's, you know, it's a tough one, but it's as simple as it is. You've got to take those opportunities when they're presented to you. Look at the mistake that was punished by Cyclops for BDS. You know, it's small margins. We keep saying this, and I know BDS went on to win the game. I'm just talking about that individual round. Small mistakes, and Cyclops got in straight away. Right, that's our opportunity. That's the crack. In we go, and we'll take advantage of it. And that's maybe something that G2 haven't been able to do so far this tournament, is really punish people enough.
So I think step forward from here in round number 5. Again, I'm keeping a close eye on the Jonka from Kayak. We've seen a couple of Jonka picks, and we almost saw Charla pull off a 1 versus 5 against Empire earlier on Consulate. He did fail on that last kill. I believe it was Shepard who came swinging in, or maybe side through, got the closing kill to win the round for Empire, but my God, was he close. Jonka being quite popular because of the site transformation properties in terms of the landscaping work that he can do, and those 14 fire rounds in back pocket. We haven't seen them be as effective as some would like, but you can play ping pong with them. It's not like it's fire it in a straight line as you're seeing here. Bounce it off a wall and get it to drop a little bit further down. Good cover to support Jonka here. Maybe you can even hold onto these stairs for quite a bit longer as a result.
Well, that's it. It's quite an interesting use of the Jonka. It's not one that we've really seen before, but just bouncing them around the corners there, it just spreads fire all over those stairs, and it really does help Jonka. He's going to be able to remain there for much longer, potentially. It just really does hold off that push from main stairs. So a nice little adaptation there, which I do like. It's now the question of how long is Kayak going to remain doing that for? How long are they going to commit to that for before they think, actually, nobody's pushing up there? And we've got our answer. He's dipped back deeper into sight. He's going to keep that utility in hand. He's still got 11 canisters that he can drop out to prevent and just close down any alleyways, any pushers that start to develop.
Got coted in here. Does he know that there's a man this close? I don't think he does at this point. We might know soon. Virtue's on with the C4 coming out, but completely goes wide of the target. No one even there at the time, I don't think. CTZN has dipped himself away. Back inside of the vault here, not looking to get himself caught up in an early foray. However, for both sides, there are 10, well, 5 players either side, but 10 in total still in the server. 33 seconds still to play with, Ace. This is going to be a bloody end to this round.
It is. It's going to be an absolute battle for both of these teams as the shots start raining in. Virtue still downstairs. A little bit of a concern. 20 seconds left to go. He's not going to be able to have too much of an impact from there. He's already used his nitro. There is the potential that peak holes have been opened up in the floor. We'll see as the round develops. Rin manages to get a headshot onto Hungry. Clearing out the vault can take that power position. They need to think about getting the diffuser down. That's exactly what coted does. The kills are raining in. There's DWG Kia just seems so organised on this attack. They know where everybody is. They've got G2's number. They get the diffuser down. CATsang finds the final kill onto Virtue as he tries to rotate back to site. As I suggest,
quite a few teams to not be as effective as maybe, you know, it was intended for the Jonka to be.
I mean, you've got to be careful with it, haven't you? You know, there's a lot of ammunition there. Make it too effective and you've got a problem. You've got a problem because you're just going to shut down entire rooms. You're going to shut down entire attacking paths for a minute or more. You know, you've got to be very careful with how powerful that gadget is. I think it's in a nice place. It's a deterrent. You know, it stops teams wanting to push through an area necessarily, but if needs be, you can take it. You can get through there and you can make the challenge. And that's what Rin shows us there. Now, we're going to be heading back in. It is going to be the final defensive round for G2. And the big concern, I'm sure, for lots of G2 fans sat watching this is the fact that this is their defensive phase on Villa. If they're going to be getting rounds anywhere, we would expect it to be now, whereas DAMWON Kia have come in and brushed them aside, I think it's fair to say, so far on the attack. And then DAMWON Kia at a potential 5-1 are going to switch onto the defensive side of Villa. That does not bode well for G2 in terms of this matchup and in terms of the Mexico Major. Let's not forget, lose here and they are done. That is it.
Would not be the most victorious campaign for EU teams at Mexico. Empire still, of course, holding firm. BDS doing well in their group. Now they've secured into first place, but Na'Vi with the first team to go home. G2 could be the fourth, I want to say. I saw on the mainstream earlier on, Monty's found some, like, Aztec... It's not a weapon, but it's like a horn that was used by the Aztecs in war, right? And it sounds like a person screaming. It's called an Aztec death whistle, I've just been told, which tells you exactly how morbid it sounds. And it sounds horrible and terrifying at the same time. I don't want anyone to ever blow one of those in my face because I genuinely fear for my life.
I'm sure that's what that was its purpose. Honestly, sure, you know, I'm sure that is, you know,
screaming those at you.
Task achieved. Just like Woogiman achieves his task and blows death into the face of Jonka, taking the man down. That's the mute gone, and that is another opening kill for DAMWON Kia. It is another advantage for them on the attack. Now then, Rin's got a drone. Just sat there, pinging out the Wamai of Kayak. And there is absolutely no response. There's no idea. He's just going to stay there until he gets hit with shots.
Just give it time. They'll find something. A nade apparently might be the answer here. He is holding an alternative angle. You might get a beautiful view of that. Look at it. Medics, you are a peach of an observer. I love that angle. CATsang getting Kayak for free. And I bet he's wondering, how do they know? It's called a drone, my good friend. Coted now getting the plant down to 5 versus 3. 5 versus 2, sorry. A 5 versus 1. You called a timeout, boys, but something tells me it's going from bad to worse. Last round was a near flawless. What I call a 4 versus 1. And the last remaining one player dies. This one, jonesing up to be exactly the same because Virtue has got to pull off a miracle.
DAMWON Kia right now, Des, are becoming unstoppable. At what point do we stop talking about them as a surprise package and do we start talking about them as potential contenders? They've beaten the world champions, not once, Des. And that's coming from somebody who's been supporting them, who's been shouting them up, who's been saying that they're a team who can go places, who can get wins. I still didn't expect this sort of performance at their first international LAN. This is absolutely off the chart, and it is impressive, it is entertaining, and it's just great to see.
You know what I'd love to see? I don't know if I'd really like the draws to be, actually. I want APAC teams on different side of the bracket so we can get a Cyclops versus DAMWON Kia grand final. And everyone gets to witness the madness that we endure on a weekly basis in APAC North. But imagine if those two teams came head to head. They know each other inside and out. They've played each other throughout all of APAC North. They have better knowledge of how the other plays and how to deal with it. No doubt would be a bit of a show for the world to endure and see what that looks like. But right now, Europe, North America, even LATAM to some level, they're feeling the pain of APAC. And that the days that Dev Marta, I know he's been screaming about it for years. The day has come that APAC is waking up and making a name for themselves. However, we've got to see them potentially get through 2 defensive win rounds first. G2, it's in their own hands now. There's nothing else they can blame. It's entirely on them if this now falls through their fingers. They can fight their way back, but it is a tall mountain to climb.
It certainly is. And the climb has to start now. You know, they are at the foot of the hill. They've got to take those first steps. They've got to tighten up the rucksack, Des. They've got to plough forward, and they've got to keep walking up this mountainside no matter what happens, because if they don't, the journey is going to end here and now. Woogiman just using that vertical angle to apply some pressure to the underneath. You got to remember they work both ways, and Generally speaking, that one will be put next to the map's table to allow one of the defenders to challenge onto that plant spot in the late round if needs be, just to prevent the attackers getting the diffuser down. But it can also be used throughout the round, of course. Now, Virtue just going to be peeking in through the main door there, dips himself away. He's got coted to contend with if G2 look to push up these main stairs. He's there, he's got the shotgun, and he's going to take those tight, short angles all day long.
Oh, it was a drone peeking at you, Woogie. Easy one taken out. Little swing onto the south side balcony. Notices one there. Sees the man. Sets out for the spray again. Jonka taking a bit of chip damage to the knee. But he's still an adventurer at this point. Only down to about 80 HP. And continuing his job until yass goes for the swing. An arrow won't do the trick, but apparently a gun will.
yass finding the opener onto Jonka. I'm not sure if he managed to take the Selma off the wall as well, or whether study wall has been opened. We'll see as that goes. Thank you, medics. It was opened partially, so he did not only get the kill, managed to take out the second destructive layer of that Selma as well. Woogiman will bite the dust now on the Valkyrie. That'll allow him to sit over on the cams, which we can see he's doing immediately, feeding information into his teammates on the defense. Rin finds CTZN. There you go. A little peek out of the window. CTZN not even getting into the map in this round. 4 versus 3. And I tell you what, Des, I look down the side of G2 and the kills are lacking. Virtue, who I called out and said we needed to see more frags, he's the one stepping up, and I'm glad to see it. 8 frags from him, but he needs a little bit more support.
Only thing, it feels like kind of beating a man while he's down, but for Virtue, a lot of those kills have been the empty 1v4, 1v5 kills. I haven't really done much to, you know, win the team the round for the most part. Looking back at round number 3 where they won him there, it was a flawless round. So the actual round they've won was a whole team effort. We need to see a bit more coming out of everyone here. Kayak, especially at 0 and 5, this is not the game to be quiet. Hungry yesterday, top fragging in their game that they won. Today, not really being seen. DWG here just keeping them against the ropes and not giving them any time to breathe or recover.
Time running out here for G2. Kayak gets an important kill onto yass. It's going to allow him into sight to start putting the diffuser down. Big from CATsang though. The challenge is going to come in through study. There we go. 1. No, doesn't get the second. Hungry. It's now 2 versus 1. DWG Kia.
Top 2 spot. Things get real dicey because Dark Zero is NIP second game, and then Dark Zero play against DWG Kia. If things go right for NIP, it's kind of counting on Dark Zero to lose against DWG Kia to guarantee themselves a spot towards the top. It's going to be such a spicy end to this group.
It really is. I mean, would you expect this from G2? Would you expect them, if they were going out of an international land, to just limp out in this way? You want them to at least go out with a bang, give us something to, you know, give you G2 fans something to cheer, something to shout about, something to get excited, even if it doesn't work out in the end. But right now, you just don't feel like they've got a round in them. They might come out and surprise us here. It's trophy and statuary for what could be the final round of Villa here as DWG Kia look to lock things down, and what a statement it sends, Des. If they come in here 7-1, they had 2 results against NIP yesterday where they were taken all the way to overtime, but then to come out even stronger time after time after time, there's teams that are going to be scared of playing this DWG Kia side.
G2 bringing something a little bit special here. CTZN stepping across onto the nook. We've seen that crawling through basement. I won't say which room, it's just basement. Every single call out in downstairs, as we concluded earlier on. TV maybe get himself up a cheeky stairway somewhere to cause a little bit of trouble in the back lines of DWG Kia, but on their side, they've got that troublesome clash, Tim. And whenever I see that, I feel nervous for any attacking team that hasn't got the tools to deal with it.
You can see the Kayak there just playing on the electrical, waiting to try and have some sort of impact. Not going to be able to. Won't be able to get it on the wall in time there, and the Hibana X Kairos pellets will open things up. Also needs to be careful now, yass, because of course we can see the relocation of the shield immediately there. Of course, explosives could fly in through that hole, so they need to make sure that they're not wasting lives, wasting utility that could be used elsewhere. And the smoke, of course, that is going to relocate that shield into Astro to try and lock down any potential action inside a bathroom.
To square up then. Hungry on the gridlock. We spoke about this a little bit yesterday in the one game we saw it brought along as the alternative to, say, a Nomad normally used the course for cutting out rotates. The gridlock a little bit more useful, you might wager, inside of the map itself. I think actually it was Constant where we saw it brought along. Virtue, that's his first opener of the game. Not a bad one to find either. Onto yass, one who, once again, is top fragging for this team.
Good start from Virtue. The G2 just need now to find a second, I feel. And they need to get themselves 5-3. They can't let DAMWON Kia trade it out. They can't let them level things up again. Jonka just playing ring around the roses with Rin at the minute as the Aruni goes the opposite way into study whilst the man's in vault. What a little picture we've got ahead of us here. Now then, CTZN, yes, doubles down, gets the nade kill onto coted, but Rin ultimately able to shut down Virtue whilst this dance of death continues. Jonka looking for the Aruni, knows that she's located hard left. Can he find a kill? No, Rinhao somehow on the reverse angle gets the kill onto Jonka, and once again, DAMWON Kia are able to fight and level things up, but CTZN, he catches Rin completely unawares. Knock, knock, who's there? It's CTZN taking G2 into the lead once again, but the gun barrel gives away the Hibana inside of Master. CATsang making the challenge. The shield firmly on the back of the Clash at the minute. Needs to be careful. Overextends. Shut down by Kayak. G2 punishing mistakes right now.
That's it, yeah. Woogie left alone here on the Maestro. It's a big ask, one that he will not be able to answer. CTZN on the nut coming up and shutting down Rin, who I've got to give a lean to, by the way, Tim. The reaction times on that man are something else. Because you mentioned it. Jonka was the one going for the swing. We're not forgetting we are on land. There is 0 ping here. Goes for the swing and Rin responds first, gets the headshot and wins the trade. That should really not be happening at this level. But alas, it does. That's just how good Rin can be.
How good Rin can be. It's how good DAMWON Kia can be. Right now, G2, they need to find some answers. They've got themselves 1. And that puts them 2 on the scoreboard overall. But they've got a lot of match points to play against at this stage. Any mistakes here will be costly as they come. Rin just getting caught out there. Just a silence of that Nox movement, able to allow CTZN to creep up onto the red stairs. It was great play from CTZN, a good round from him. I think it was needed. It was something that G2 just need to feel that energy seeping back into the map for them.
Well, I guess one way to surprise Rin is to play the Nook, and that's exactly what CTZN's going to do again in this round, this time heading down into Dining and Kitchen. On the other side again, seeing that Frost being replaced by the much more popular pick, it feels for most teams at this competition. Going in towards the Alibi, who's been given the 1.5 times scope that was originally on the C1 of Frost. So small tweets coming. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but clearly it's enough that shows players value more than anything having that 1.5 times over the specific utility that you can bring instead.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Alibi's gun is fantastic as well. The MX4 Storm, you know that it's an absolute laser and it can get kills just left, right, centre. The gadgets can sort of perform a similar task to the Frost mats. They're not as lethal, but if you put them in windows, for example, it prevents people jumping in. So the task, the outcome, is sometimes largely the same. It just makes them think twice. They have to solve a problem before they can get in through a window, for example. Because if they just hop in, they're going to trigger the ping. They're going to know that they're there. You can make a challenge onto them. So absolutely can see why the Alibi is becoming popular. And we've seen some big plays here at the Mexico Major with Alibi. And I'm sure that we'll see plenty more before we're done. Jonka trying to move into study again. This was his domain last time around. We had that challenge with Rin. Ultimately, Rin was able to get the win. He just absolutely dominated Jonka on that reverse angle. CTZN, G2, they need to get themselves... I don't know if they need to get upstairs. They don't seem to be going up there at the minute, but the defenders are pretty comfortable inside of sight right now, and a bit of vertical presence will prevent that.
Steps into here. Nate coming through. Will apologise, by the way. So I know I've told you in private, but if my headset cuts out, I can't know what's going on. You can take it and you can just scream for the pair of us, eh?
I'll certainly do that, don't you worry.
That's true. I'm sure you will. Coted then holding up on the near angle, shotgun in hand, daring CTZN to come up through pantry here. They have the sneaking suspicion, and don't forget, of course, with the pulse on side, it's more confirmation for you. So as sneaky as CTZN thinks he's being right here, we're getting all excited about what he might be able to achieve. They know exactly where he is and what it is that he's trying to do. The ping does indicate that someone's up there, and surely at this point they know he went for the swing, and the shotgun blast comes out. Surprise has been foiled, revealed, but Coted, the one who loses out in that exchange, whilst upstairs, Jonka goes down. Rin on the jump out. That's the beautiful stuff, but Kayak is there for the trade. Better cover coming out of G2. However, still at least for a few seconds finding themselves in the 3 versus 3 until Jonka is put back on his feet. Yass finding Hungry. Could that be it, Tim? I mean, Jonka's going to get rescued here when they're confident they're not being pushed onto, but CTZN's still dangerously low on HP.
It's taking time. Jonka's going to come back to 20 HP, so you've got two operators there that can die very quickly inside of a gunfight. CATsang just using that heartbeat scanner. DWG Kia have got all the information. Honestly, time is going to become a big factor here, Des. 20 seconds, G2 are going to have to rush. And having to rush when you've only got 20, 10 HP in the case of CTZN, that is a recipe for disaster. Selma charge is going to open the hatch. It's going to come down to a drop. CATsang finds CTZN. That's 3 versus 2. Kayak gives his position away, shut down. It's DWG Kia. It's 7-2. It's G2 eliminated from the Mexico Major, and it's DWG Kia, the first APAC team to buy their ticket to the playoffs, Des. They're going. They've done it. They've got the points locked in, and they will progress from Group C.